Good morning, students. Welcome back to online class of biology. Today we are going to start with second chapter, and the name of the chapter is sexual reproduction in flowering plants. So now if you look at the plants around us, we observe that the most beautiful or attracting part of the plant is the flowers. So if you look at the flowers comes in different shapes, size and colors. Okay, so below are the pictures of 4 flowers. And all these 4 flowers are different in shapes, size, colors, and you can see that they look really beautiful. Now all the flowering plants shows sexual reproduction. Okay, a mode of reproduction in flowering plant is sexual reproduction. Now let's see what is flower. Flower is a modified shoot. Okay, for what the shoot modified? For reproduction. Or flower is the reproductive structure, because it is through flower the plant undergo reproduction. That is why it is also known as flower is the reproductive structures in plant. How is flower formed in plant? Flower is formed by modifying the shoot. Okay, the shoot undergo modification. When will the shoot undergo modification? When the plant reach a state of maturity. Even in the last class we discussed that all the organisms must reach a stage of maturity before they can undergo reproduction sexually. So same case for the plant. Okay, being a living organisms, they must also reach a stage of maturity before they can undergo reproduction. So once the plant reach a state of maturity, the shoot will undergo modification and produce a flower. Now flower is formed in response to several hormones and structural changes in plant. Now if you look at the picture on the left hand side, you see a simple plant in its growing stage. When the plant is in growing stage, the apical shoot apex will continue to grow, give out nodes, and each node will give out leaf and bud, and all the node will elongate, forming internode. This formation of internode will contribute to the height of the plant. But once this plant attain maturity, okay, the shoot apex will directly undergo modifications to form a floral part. How will the floral parts form? Now the shoot apex will directly give rise to gynoecium, the female part of the flower, and a node below the shoot apex will produce androecium, the male part of the flower, and below the second node, the third node will give a rise to corolla. Okay, and below that a node will give rise to calyx. And during the formation of these 4 floral parts, the node fail to elongate. Okay, the nodes fail to elongate. That is why it looks like the flower, all the 4 floral parts of the flower seems to come from one point. Actually, they arise in different nodes, but the only thing is the node fail to elongate. Now, sexual reproduction in flower can be studied in 3 steps. One is pre-fertilization, double fertilization, and post-fertilization. Now, let us go to the first one, that is pre-fertilization. Okay. In flower, male reproductive structures is called androecium, okay, and it is composed of stamens. The female reproductive structures is called gynoecium, and gynoecium is composed of pistils or carpels. Now this is a picture of a simple complete flower. Okay, this stalk is called peduncle. Okay, this stalk is called peduncle, and at the tip of the peduncle we have a swelling part, and we call that as thalamus or receptacle. Okay, it is in receptacle or thalamus a different part of flowers will be formed. Now the first one is calyx, and calyx are composed of sepals. Okay, and the second part is corolla. Okay, corolla are composed of petals, and inner to corolla or petals you see these structures. These structures is what we call androecium, the male reproductive organs in plant. Now the innermost you see, this is the gynoecium. Okay, gynoeciums, and the female reproductive part in plant. Now let us go and study the detailed structures of stamen. Okay, stamens, you know, they are the male reproductive part of flower. Okay, stamen consists of two parts. One is a slender stalk, this thread-like structure, a slender stalk called filament, and head called anther. Okay, this structure is called anther, and this anther structures is also called anther lobe. Now let us go to anther, the structures of anther. Anther may be monothecous or it may be dithecous. Now let us see what is the difference between monothecous anther and dithecous anther. Monothecous anther has one lobe. Remember lobe? This is called anther lobe. So in case of monothecous, there is only one lobe. You see here two lobes, but in case of monothecous anther, there is only one anther lobe. And this one lobe has got two pollen chambers. That is why it is also called bisporangiate. Monothecous anther is found in family of Malvaceae. Now let us go to dithecous anther. Dithecous anther has two lobes, or it is also called bilobed. Okay, each lobe have 4 pollen chambers. Okay, each lobe has got 2 pollen chamber. Okay, so 2 lobes will have 4 pollen chambers in total. That is why it is also called tetraporangiate. Now the 2 lobes are joined by sterile tissue called connective. Okay, both the lobes in anther is joined by a sterile tissue called connective. Why it is called sterile tissue? Because this tissue doesn't take part in reproduction. Now dithecous is the common type for almost all the plants. Therefore, we are going to discuss about the dithecous anther in detail. Now, okay, this is the structures of anther. You can see 2 lobes here. Okay, 2 anther lobes. These 2 anther lobes are connected, are joined by a group of sterile tissue, and we call that as connective. Now, if you cut the anther in transverse section, you see this kind of structures. This is one lobe. Okay, this is one lobe, and this is another lobe. One lobe, one lobe. So 2 lobes are there, and each lobe has got 2 pollen chamber, or we also call this as theca. Okay, each lobe has got 2 theca. Therefore, 2 lobes will have in total of 4 pollen chamber or 4 thecas. Now, if you look at the TS of anther, okay, TS of anther, anther is surrounded by 4 layers. The first one is epidermis. Epidermis is the outermost single layer of flat cell. Now look at the diagram here. Okay, this is the TS structures of the anther. Now, okay, look at here. Epidermis is the outermost single layer. Outermost single layer. You can also see here, epidermis, they are singled flat cells. The second one is the endothecium. Endotheciums, okay, inner to epidermis and a single layer of radially elongated cells. They are also single layer, okay, but they are radially arranged. These cells possess bands of callus. Okay, they possess a band of callus and help in dehiscence of anthers at maturity. The third one is the middle layer. Okay, middle layer comprises of 3 to 4 layers of thin walled cells below the endotheciums. You look here. This is the middle layer. Epidermis, below the epidermis we have endotheciums, and below the endotheciums we have a group of cells called middle layers. Now note, outer 3 walls, that is epidermis, endotheciums, middle layer perform the functions of protection. These outer 3 layers will protect, okay, protect the inner tapetum layers and sporogenous tissue. Now the innermost layer is tapetum. Tapetum is a single-celled innermost layer surrounding the sporogenous tissue. Okay, they surround the sporogenous tissue. Sporogenous tissue are a group of tissue that will give rise to pollen grain in later part. Okay, so these sporogenous tissue are surrounded by cells known as tapetum. These tapetums has got dense cytoplasm and is multinucleated. What is the function? They provide nutrients or nourishment to the developing microspore mother cells. So next to tapetum we have what is called a sporogenous tissue, and this tissue occupy the center of each microsporangium, and in later part they will be the one that will give rise to pollen grain. So that's all for today's lecture. Thank you for watching.